Welcome back to FryMinis. I'm Eric, and today in our Van Richten's Guide to Ravenloft coverage, we're continuing with Gothic Horror. So going into this one, I'm having a little trouble pinning down how I would classify Gothic Horror other than like spooky old houses, old-timey stuff, and lots of drama. So I'm just as eager to learn about this one as you are, so let's go. Gothic Horror is about the terror within, not without. It shatters the illusion of humanity in a poignant way by holding a mirror up to us and saying, look at what we truly are and look at what we pretend to be. Under that mask of civility, there is depravity. Under that thin veneer of society, there is wickedness. Under all the trappings of sophistication, are we not all predators or prey? Gothic Horror shatters the lies we trick ourselves into believing and shows that we, not some distant entity, are and ever shall be the architects of our doom. The quest for perfection leads us to discover our own imperfections. Our quests for the divine leads us to believe we are ourselves the gods. These are the themes that haunt stories of Gothic Horror. Ooh, that's way better. Consider the following genre tropes when creating your Gothic Horror domain. Gothic stories include intense, even exaggerated emotions. Romances, rivalries, and life-changing events are common in these adventures. The atmosphere and a sense of dread are key to achieving a Gothic feel. Set your story in a decrepit mansion, ruined cathedral, or other foreboding location. Gothic heroes are often virtuous, deeply passionate, or courageous. Find ways for adventurers to test characters' beliefs and morality. Gothic villains are unrepentantly evil, but this shouldn't be immediately obvious. Drop hints about your villain's awful secrets before revealing them fully. Sacrifices feature prominently in Gothic stories. Give characters heart-wrenching choices to make. All right, that's shaping up for me. I think I was right with the drama. It seems dramatic, but in a good way. Creatures imbued with tragedy or abominable origins work well in Gothic Horror adventures. Often lower-level monsters embody aspects of a more powerful villain's evil powers or background. For example, swarms of bats suggest a vampire's connection to the creatures of the night, while werewolves speak towards a vampire's bloodthirsty nature. We've got a list of Gothic Horror monsters, Monster Manual, VGR Van Richten's Guide to Ravenloft. Zombie, ghoul, gargoyle, wereraven, green hag, werewolf, succubus, incubus, Nosferatu, Afridi, loup-garou, vampire. These seem pretty classic to me. I am a little surprised there's not kind of more human type monsters in here. Villains in Gothic Horror tales are subtle or unassuming until they reveal their true nature. Any intriguing figure with a dark secret can serve as a Gothic Horror villain, and Gothic Horror villains are most effective when they are slowly revealed as shockingly cruel, immoral, or the antithesis of goodness. Our Gothic Horror villains table is a D10. A reclusive noble who isn't a vampire, but uses his reputation as one to terrorize his vassals. An indulgent socialite who made a terrible bargain with a fell power to retain her youth. A scientist obsessed with creating the perfect poison, machine, or life form. A beloved magnate who abducts commoners to steal their blood for his beauty rituals. A celebrity who openly murders innocents but uses their charm to avoid repercussions. Someone who loves a monstrous creature and does anything to keep it fed and safe. A wealthy heir who manipulated the ambitious into committing terrible deeds. A poisoner who seeks to manipulate history through targeted killings. An artist who manufactures terrible accidents to provide inspiration and reference for her art. A monster hunter who accuses those they consider sinful of being monsters. Monster hunter, that's it for me. Because players here, you're probably going to be monster hunters, or at least semi-monster hunter heroes kind of thing, right? So if your bad person is a fellow monster hunter, I think that's pretty interesting. Self-debasement and self-loathing lurk at the heart of Gothic villains' evil. Whether they indulge in vices or are consumed with misanthropy, this results in villains who torment themselves viciously. Gothic Horror torments, D8. The Dark Lord's soul is so consumed by shadows that it extinguishes all light that shines on them. The Dark Lord inherited unlimited wealth, but finery she wears turns to rags and food it tastes like ash. The Dark Lord is incomparably beautiful, but locals perceive him as a terrible beast. Tattoos detailing the Dark Lord's sins cover their body. Every night, the Dark Lord is the focus of a lavish ball, but during the day, he turns into a lead statue. A choir of spirits follows the Dark Lord, endlessly singing her sins. The Dark Lord endlessly cries tears of blood, ink, poison, or molten iron. The Dark Lord knows how he's going to die and sees evidence of impending doom everywhere. Molten iron. I think you could spin a lot off of that. That's pretty cool. Ominous history, supernatural forces, and an underlying sinister air are staples of Gothic horror settings. Gothic horror settings, D8. A city-state where the rulers are secretly warring lycanthropes, hags, and vampires. A countryside littered with gigantic pieces of armor. A nation where fog hides packs of deadly beasts. An island where the inhabitants make sacrifices to avoid eerie transformations. A mountain-sized cathedral devoted to transforming a prophesized being into a deity. A force of eternal night where bloodthirsty creatures live in monstrous peace. A city where all who die are cast in plaster and used to adorn tableau-covered avenues. An artist's paradise where cruelties are elevated to terrible and beautiful art forms. Lycanthropes, hags, and vampires. Oh, you get to join a faction, you can have guild privileges, you could eventually get their own power and become one of them. Tons of inspiration right there. Gothic horror stories often center on a forlorn structure in which depravity finds a welcome home. Gothic horror adventure sites, D8. A mansion's forbidden east wing where terrible noises sound from every night. A castle where all visitors are transformed into rats, bats, spiders, and other beasts. A science lab where preserved body parts carry the consciousness of their former owners. A hidden fighting arena where rivals and lovers battle to prove the strength of their emotions. A beautiful garden where the past keepers find immortality as statues and ancient trees. A tower where honorable heroes are sworn to protect a monstrous ruler. A lavish inn where a random guest chokes on their own blood each night. A rectory where the stained glass windows hold the trapped souls of the pious. A mansion with the east wing, but it's a trick. There are no scary noises over there. That's just where they want some peace and quiet, so they've got some illusion spell blasting out the sounds. Poetic tragedy, the dichotomy between goodness and wickedness, and reckonings for wicked deeds are strong fodder for Gothic horror plots. Gothic horror plots, D8. Discover why anyone who utters the prince's true name immediately turns to dust. Investigate the disappearance of a scientist known only through their correspondence. Help a repentant immortal lose centuries of painful memories. Track down a serial killer who impales her victims on the same monument. End an affliction that turns a noble into a living doll every night. Settle a dispute between mortals and devils who both claim the same child as their next ruler. Put to rest a pair of spirits that bring tragedy to any couple who tries to get married. Find a way to end a land's generational curse that doesn't involve a group of innocents willingly sacrificing themselves. I love that last one. You've got an option right there, right? So anytime the players want to give up, fine. Let the whole family, whatever, sacrifice themselves to end the curse. But you want to try to find a different way. So I think you could have some real fun there with trying to find a workaround while you've got an answer right there. So I think this is a great set of options here. This genre to me is the least iconic, I guess, in comparison with the other ones. Old-timey, political, relationship, weird, but not spooky, kind of monstrous. I don't know. I feel like this one's a little bit of kind of everything here. And that's totally fine. It's cool. But I don't know that this would be my go-to out of these options. So somebody in the comments, please tell me why I'm wrong and why Gothic horror is the best. I can't wait to hear your answers. Please stay tuned for more Van Richten's Guide to Ravenloft content here on FryMinis. Thanks for watching. See you next time.